All right, and welcome to Casey Needs a Co-host Zoomvivor edition. Today, this is the Afterthoughts podcast, and today we have our most unfortunately recent boot, Manu. How you doing today, Manu?
Hello, Casey Micalonis. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Casey Needed a co-host because I am here already.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to say before we really get into it, the other podcast, which we also recorded a few hours ago, we talked about you a lot. And I think you truly are the first hero of this season. And unfortunately, the first, star that has been extinguished. I think it's so sad. I think there are a few stars in the season so far, and you're one of them. And unfortunately, you left, and you left way too early, in my opinion. But I think you were definitely a hero in a season full of people we don't know if they're going to be villainous or not. I mean, we've already have some villains, so but I know you have a lot to say about this episode. So yeah, if you just want to talk about your episode, your experience with Zoomvivor, just anything you want, we're here to listen. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Casey. So, as people probably have seen already, as I said in my last words, um, I think I had a very complete game. I mean, even if I didn't last very long, I experienced many things that you probably experienced in a longer stay. I mean, I said I won one immunity. I won one tribal immunity. I was like the leader for my tribe in the immunity challenge. I escaped from being voted out many times. And as a Latino, I was the perfect Latino for this because it was like a Latino soap opera full of drama, full of suffering moments, like being in the outs all alone. And yeah, I am here to tell about many things that people may not see with the edit thing because many things happen. And I am even shocked of seeing some stuff on the edition because I left the game thinking some stuff. And then I see what actually happened. And yeah, I have something for you. I have hot tea.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to just kick right into it, I did see that you called a fellow castaway a liar. You want to address that?
Oh, yes. Well, I love Dakota. I mean, I love this guy. Even if he was a bitch and voted me out. But yeah, the thing is that he said in his confessional that he came to me and asked, like, Manu, did you bring something from exile? And that never happened. He never asked me. It was me, the one who told him. I know, I recognize that it took a long time for me to tell him because I really forgot about the advantage because it was already expired. I was not even taking consideration of that. And when I remember about when I yeah, I remember about that, um, I told him why because he trusted in me by telling me the idol thing. And what actually happened with the idol thing is that we were looking for the idol together. I mean, he arrived to the. I mean, he started first, and it took me longer for me because here in Paraguay we don't actually use QR codes yet. It's something really new. So I had to adjust myself to that first. I had to download the app, and I had to like realize how to use it. Um, because maybe many people here has the QR application, but they don't even know how to use it. They don't even know where it is in their phones. So it was kind of new for me. And he was a couple of steps ahead of me, but we were like trying to help each other. And yeah, he made it to the idol first. And of course, he had to tell me because it was pretty obvious. We were looking for the idol together. And when I arrived and saw the someone has already claimed the idol, it was like pretty obvious that it was him because Kira was like absent most of the time, and Sherry was, I don't think she was looking for the idol, so it was pretty obvious it was him. And yeah, he told me about that, and I took it in a way that, yeah, this guy is trusting on me. And also, of course, because we had a connection at the beginning of the game. Like, some connections are not shown on the camera on screen because they are not like important on that moment. But on the first episode where we were Pangaea, we had a very good conversation with Dakota, and we kind of started a connection that could probably be an alliance further. And yeah, that was my only point. He just lied on that confessional, but he came to me after I said that, and we were talking, and then he said, "I'm sorry," and yeah, I really know. I mean, I know he is a real person. He's a really good person, and uh, even if he plays like a villain sometimes, but yeah, I like him.
What about Sherry? What did you think about Sherry in the mix? Because it almost seemed like it was kind of you three that were getting in tight, and you had you all spoke Spanish as well, which is something that surprised me. I wasn't expecting Sherry to speak Spanish, but I actually
Yeah.
found out recently she was born in Panama, I think.
What?
Yeah, I heard she was born in Panama, but then at a very, very young age, she moved to the United States because I think she's an army kid. So her dad was in the army, so they moved around.
Yeah, I got that she speak Spanish as well, because when I was speaking in Spanish during the challenge with Dakota, she could understand everything that I was saying. I was calling the things to Dakota, and she was like, "Yeah, do that." So I got that she speaks Spanish as well. Um, yeah, well, we as soon as I arrived to the Kekolu tribe, I mean, it was formed. I was the only original Maota there, and they asked me what happened on the last tribal council, and of course I told them because I was like very mad because I was almost voted out, and they were like, hell no. They were like saying to me that they wanted to work with me, and I was feeling really good with that. And of course I knew that my position was kind of hard there because it was Kira, and I knew I was like new for them. They already had um a relationship going. Of course I didn't know how it was when they went to tribal council. I didn't know if they were in an alliance between them. But yeah, I had to do the best of me to to stay in the game. And I didn't really know that Sherry and Dakota had a really strong connection. Like they know each other from like actual life. um but I understood that they were very close together. And when I arrived, I immediately knew that I had to target Kira. That it was the only hope that I had to stay. So the thing with Sherry, I think that if you see and start going like back in the game, you see that Sherry had to vote out Simon because probably Dakota convinced her. Sherry had to vote out Kira because I mean Dakota convinced her. And this time it was like, hell no, you will not convince me anymore. This time we will do what I want. So I think this time it was Sherry the one who convinced Dakota to do something. And uh, yeah, I just think that she wanted to do something by her own as well. We had a really good connection, but my stronger connection was with Dakota. Um, he was really open with me speaking in Spanish. So of course you will feel connected with someone like that, especially when you see that in the game, it was really important at the end, the cultural and nationality thing that I will talk about that later. Um, but yeah, after my friend Andres was voted out, I thought that I was the only Latino. But as well, Costas speaks Spanish, so I had a connection with him, and yeah, also with Dakota. So there was like a little Latino connection there going on. But yeah,
I didn't know that he spoke Spanish either.
yeah, he told me that. I mean, he told me that his ex-boyfriend was Spanish, so he learned Spanish through that, and he said something in Spanish as well. But yeah, what I think now is that they made a bad decision because they really had my loyalty. I mean, if you see in the game, I never lied to anyone but Brian. The only person I lied was Brian, saying let's vote out Sherry, but it was just a lie I told to him because I was like, probably no one is talking to him. He will feel like in danger. Someone has to say something to this kid. And yeah, then I think they made a bad decision for two reasons. One, they left 7 Filipinos on merge. 7. And look how many foreigners there are. Only 4. 3 Americans, 1 Greek guy. The rest is out. Second, they were saying, oh, Brian probably has connections there, and we can probably get closer to those people with Brian. How are they like super sure about that? And they already had me, and also, I mean, they blindsided Simon. They betrayed Kira, and now they betray me. What kind of image are you giving to the other people about you? People will just think that you are a betrayer, a flipper all the time. And probably no one will want to work with you if they see that are you betraying people all the time. So I don't think they did a good they they made a good decision there.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, and I think that is the thing. They, if anyone is privy to their voting process or who they're betraying, they definitely can be looked at as villains. I think of the 3 villains in the game, Sherry and Dakota seem to be 2 of them. You know, which I think the early one that everyone started to identify was Bads, who I think, he's got an assertiveness to him. He has a plan and he wants to try and execute it. People are figuring it out, but so he's kind of like an early villain. But I definitely see Dakota and Sherry. That
Yeah,
you're right. They betrayed. That's 3 votes now.
yeah, of course. And remember that yeah, it might be like 5 foreigners and 6 Filipinos then, but Dakota had an idol, Costas also had an idol, and Costas had this fragmented idol. So there are many advantages that a potential future alliance could use. And we kind of start seeing like Filipino mafia starting to go on, because maybe this is just a thing of destiny, but all the foreigners have left in the game, and uh, yeah, like indirectly we went home because people the first thing that people did was to stay closer to the people from their same country. I mean, the Filipinos and the Americans. So the rest of the people was like going to one side or another. And when it got the time to vote out someone, it was like the less important person for the group. In this case, it was Andres, Simon, Kira, me. We can see, I mean, Ming went home, but it was just because she didn't vote for me. Because if she voted for me, that would be a tie. And yeah, we didn't have any tiebreaker. But they just needed to be like all in an agreement. How do you say that? An anonymous
Yeah.
decision. And of course, all of them will say Manu. And then Danny went home only because the Arakoa tribe there was with 4 Filipinos. I mean, there was no other choice there. So you can see that probably the nationality thing is is being important at this point, like indirectly.
Yeah. And I mean, we kind of saw that with my season. We had a bunch of Filipinos, team up and they all made it to the end. There was only one American who even kind of snaked his way in there, but even he got out at a certain point. So yeah, you're exactly right. There's a lot of Filipinos going into the merge. So
Well,
it's crazy. It really is.
yeah, it is an important point that they should have seen in that moment. But I understand. I mean, we are tired. If you get to see and compare, like on the first episode, we were all like super happy, super energetic, and then you see on episode 6, we are almost dead. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was going on for definitely about 8 hours at that point. And some of you guys started really early in the morning.
Yeah.
So
uh yeah, it was super late, and I was like kind of released and happy to be voted out because merch came after that. And after that, I think it came the break, and the next day started the merge. So the merge started, and of course, even if you're even if you're tired and exhausted, you cannot lose the dynamics of social part. You have to stay there and talk to everyone, like at least for 2 hours, and make sure that you have people on your side. Because if you go to sleep, maybe people will start to make relations, and it will probably happen to you the same thing that happened to Andres.
yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, even Rain, I think, brought that up during our podcast earlier. So, but I mean, how does it feel ultimately knowing that you missed the merge just by one vote?
I think it feels the same of being in fourth place, like you lost the final just for one little. And yeah, I wish I made it. I think if I got to the merge, I think my my game would really change on that moment, because I didn't even have any um great or big alliance. So I could be one of those people in the middle, and all the alliances would probably come to me, and I could potentially be one of the swing votes, of I mean, one of the decision votes. Yeah, that's the name of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have made it a little bit more even with the Filipinos versus the rest of the world. So, yeah, I mean, I think that is a big thing. And you know what? I didn't even exactly think of that point earlier when we recorded our podcast. It was something I think I thought about when we were on production, but yeah, that's a huge thing. And also Simon, like when he was at tribal council, he didn't even need to play his idol to nullify a vote. Regardless, it didn't do anything. He should have saved it for the merge, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you maybe my perception is like not exactly what happened, but it is what I get from playing and also watching the episodes and watching what people is saying. So if you like, how do you say, you put the points together,
Mhm.
you will probably have a conclusion like that.
And so
Sorry.
what's that?
I struggle with English
Oh,
sometimes.
you're perfectly fine. I completely you were saying you're trying to say connect the dots, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely understood what you were saying. Um, but yeah, I mean, aside from those points, was there anything else that we really missed, about your game or something that you think wasn't you want to clear up aside from the Dakota thing?
Um, well, I just think, hmm, coming back to the first episode, I remember that I was one of the people who was not on the beach.
Really?
And
Oh, you
yes,
popped in later, didn't you?
I was with Andres, Simon, and Ming in the mountain. And I noticed at that point, I should be with where all the majority is, because maybe they are talking. And yeah, I moved to the beach, and they just started to form that alliance, the beach alliance. And uh, coincidentally, the next three people voted out were Andres, Simon, and Ming, the three people that were on the mountain.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I
Yeah, it's
actually never
crazy.
even thought about that either, even though that is the pattern.
Yeah, I don't think it had something to go with that, but yes, it's a coincidence. And yeah, um, at that point, I didn't even suspected that Filipinos might be creating an alliance between them, like the Visayas and then the Maota Five and things like that. But yeah, then you go to the episode where the tribes are splitting, and we have that schoolyard pig that I hate that part because nobody chose me. And at that point, I was feeling like, why never choose me? Why is no one choosing me? They saw on the last immunity challenge that I could be a good player on challenges, and they're not choosing me. So then it was like, oh, no one wants to play with me. This sucks. And I think that specific moment was the one that changed my whole game because the game was just starting. I mean, we just had one person voted out. And on the first episode, it was like just trying to survive. You couldn't even get a strong connection with anyone because we were 18. In a big group, it is almost impossible to talk to everyone. So
Mhm.
it was like just trying to meet people and just trying to survive enough for you to later try to do something else. And on the second episode, I go to exile. So that puts me in a disadvantage on the game because everyone else is creating alliances and I am out.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what? That's part of your story and your struggle where you were, and that I think shows how good of a player you are, is despite all of that, you were dodging the votes and you got up to the very point of right before the merge. So I think that's part of what shaped you as a great player. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that it happened, but that's what happened.
Yeah, unfortunately that happened to me, and I didn't have the chance to actually show the kind of player that I am because no one really got to see me as a strategic player because it was all the time Manu trying to survive for the next episode and then trying to survive again and again and again. Um, because I didn't have the same experience as Erica, as Bats, or whoever else that, and because they have people behind them, and no one else was behind me. The only actual person who was next to me it was Andres. He was voted out, and as no one wanted to play with me, I didn't have many chances to do a strategies to be like Bats, who I mean, you see Bats on the game, and he was like, "Hey, what about voting for this person? Or what about doing this or doing that?" I didn't have that chance. I didn't have people next to me to do something. So you just have to think about like what would have happened in another universe where things had been different. You in another universe where, for example, you have a different Kira, a Kira that is more noticeable, like more talkative, or instead of more Filipinos, you have like more Paraguayans or more Latinos or whatever. What would have happened in that situation? I mean, what would have Bats done if he was in a group of different people? So this is just the story and the destiny that was good for some people, and they took advantage of it. And yeah, great, congratulations. But I am still fine and happy for making it to the point I made.
Yeah. So I guess before we wind it all down, I'm kind of curious, what's your reaction to your fan reception? You seems like a lot of people really like you out there.
I love my fans. I love them. I mean, Many of them were reaching out to me on private chat, and they were saying, "Hey, I am rooting for you. I hope you make it far on the game." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I hope to." Uh, I know they are not disappointed, um, but yeah, I wish I made it a little further, but I am really happy that they like the way I play, and I am also happy for the way that I was shown on screen, because it was pretty much like I was playing. The only difference at that point it was that I was not aware of many things. If I was aware that people was actually putting me aside so much, I would have probably been so sad, because I tend to be like super depressed every time I feel alone. So at that point, people kind of made me think that I was surrounded by many people who wanted to play with me. That was not that true. That was yes, but not too yes at that point. And yeah, after I watched the show and see how it actually was, how I was portrayed, and how people were actually looking at me in the game, I started to feel sad. I am happy for the fans I got, but yeah, I'm still sad because of some stuff that happened on the game. That I don't think they are like very fair enough. Like, I said my comments previous weeks ago when Ming was went home. Um, I saw that episode and it really it really crushed my heart. Um, because at that point, I was like probably the strongest supporter of Filipinos, because I had already heard comments about that. Filipinos always get along with Filipinos and they don't want to work with other people. And I was like, no way, that's not possible. I will give them an opportunity. And I was super open to that. And then watching the episode, uh, I realized that it was not uh, the thing that I thought. I thought that people bats, like being like Kenneth, really came to me to work with me, and at the end it was like they were thinking, they were considering voting me out just because of my nationality. And you cannot say that is not true, because there is a confessional where Kenneth is saying Manu is the only not Filipino here. So what do you think I will think about that? I mean, of course I will feel bad because of that. I mean, how would they feel if they were in a Paraguayan game on a tribe, being the only Filipino next to other 7 Paraguayans, and feeling that you are alone and no one wants to work with you? And yes, at that point, like I think the only person who actually came to me in a real way was Kenita, because she came to me on the first day, first day, on the first minutes of the game. Um, we were alone, like alone in one of the uh, we-
Breakout
world,
rooms.
yeah, on that. And she told me about making an alliance, and I said yes to her. And I was actually really thankful for saying yes when I got to the tribe, because I think one of the people who like made me, uh, she was kind of one of the people who saved my life there. I don't really know if she was actually and originally with me, because as the confessionals were, as they were saying in the confessionals, the plan was like splitting the votes between me and Ming. They made me believe that we were creating an alliance. They made me believe that when Andres went home, it was just like a scramble, like they didn't know what to do, and there were no alliances made, and they made me believe that I was forming an alliance, and that I was like the mastermind of that vote. They made me believe that I was the one who put the name of Bing there. Because yes, I actually put the name. I actually said Ming, but just because I tried to reach her and she never replied to me, and we were really getting very well between us. But as she didn't reply to me, and the game goes super fast, and you need to get people soon. Uh, I knew that the probably the easiest person to vote out was Ming, because I was like, if I say another person's name, that will probably cost me. So the easiest thing for me was to say Ming's name, and they were like, "If you want, we can do that." And I was like, "Oh my god, I am rooting. I'm rooting in rooting. No, I am ruling.
Ruling?
No, um, uh, I am in charge of this vote. Probably, I was thinking that, and then after Ming was voted out, Bing and Kenita came to me and say, "Oh my God, um, Bats and Kenneth betrayed us. They voted for you," and I believe them. But at the end, I think they were just working together. I mean, of course, they were like paranoid about each other. They were like, maybe this person is lying to me. But at the end, I think they were working together just because it was useful for all of them. And yeah, it doesn't feel really good because I was really open to work with them, and they didn't even consider that I was really doing well in challenges, that I was struggling for my life there. They were just considering my nationality. And yeah, I accept that they were considering that I might probably have an advantage from the exile. I take that as a good reason for voting you out, but not nationality. That's not good. I mean, it's not my fault to be born here. If I could, I would have born in the Philippines, but no. uh, I and yeah, fortunately I got to survive that. And also we had Charlene, who said that I didn't reply to her. The thing that actually happened is that yes, I didn't reply to her at the beginning because the same thing that happened to Erica with Costas happened to me. I didn't see her message because we were not friends on Facebook. And when I saw it, I said, I am sorry, I didn't see your message, but of course it was late. But why I didn't go to her first? The thing is that Charlene was speaking Visaya in front of me and with all the people there. So that kind of sends you a message that maybe a person doesn't want to work with you. I mean, if someone who doesn't speak that language is on the room, you should like be aware of that and try not to use it in front of that person, because that person could feel like a part of the group.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes them feel
And
isolated.
yes, and I felt that from her. So I was like closing myself from her. And you know, as we have like 15 or 10 minutes to talk between each other before a challenge and then before tribal council, of course, you have to use those minutes very smartly, and use it with the people who you think you can have more possibilities. And yeah, that was the thing. I said, okay, I don't have any possibility with Charlene because uh, she probably doesn't want to work with me. I will try to get these people, and that was what actually happened. So the thing is that I think these people should consider the way I feel. I After I said that comment, I was expecting maybe at least one of them to come to my chat and ask me how I was feeling, to say, I don't know, I'm sorry. Let's clarify these things. I didn't mean to say that, or things like that, but no one came. And I am still waiting for that actually, because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I'm very sorry that that happened. That is very, very unfortunate. Hopefully, if they see this, they do reach out to you.
Hope.
But yeah, I definitely can see that. I mean, same thing kind of happened in our season to an extent. People, isolating other people, and they're just sticking with nationalities. I mean, there was a confessional in my season where they were just like, well, it's a valid strategy just to stick with nationalities. So it's
Yeah,
unfortunate. It really is.
yeah, people should stop seeing that, because I mean, at the end of the day, we are all people and we all have the same minds. We are players here, and yeah, you can vote out someone because you think is a threat, because you think is a liar or whatever, but not because of nationality or thing or other things. And then on the next episode, we have Bats on the tribe with women, and he is saying, let's see beyond gender. And what about the last episode where he wasn't seeing beyond nationality? He was putting me in that position. He was putting me apart with all his alliance, and he was not taking that into consideration. But now that he was the person like on the outs, he was worried about that. So it is easy to play like a villain, or like, I don't know, it is easy to do what you want where you have power. But when you feel like you are in the bottom, of course you just feel like down and try to do what you can. Like, you try to ask for your please. You are like pleasing for your life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when he's in a position of power, he doesn't consider what other people are feeling, but when he's the one in the seat, then it's like, well, don't do this. So I I,
Mhm.
I completely get that. I do. All right, so I guess just finishing everything up, do you have any final thoughts before we conclude the podcast?
Well, um let me see. I took notes of everything I wanted to say. Yeah. Well, just another thing that I think costed my game was the language barrier. I mean, um, many important details on the game were said that I didn't get on that moment. And you listen. I mean, I listened to everything, and I think that I got it, but at the end I didn't. Especially on that immunity challenge, no, on the last immunity challenge I listened to what James was saying about the explanation of the challenge, and I didn't get that we could like say stop and stop the screen the screen showing of the emojis.
Yeah, the patterns.
Yeah, yeah, the patterns. I didn't get that on the explanation, and I was the second turn, and I saw the first turn, but I didn't get that Sherry was the one who said stop, and then it was my turn, and I was like taking my time to look at the symbols, and didn't get that we had to stop it. So that really costed me that challenge, because I was just one symbol away from bats who made four. I did three. Maybe I could force a tie there and change things. So this is when you realize that the language barrier can also be potentially an advantage or a disadvantage for you on the game. But yeah, about my final thoughts. And I really love this game. I love everything that happened at the end. Like, I love how production worked from the beginning. I mean, from pre-production, when they were doing the casting. After I was casted for the season, they were all the time like cheering for me, like asking me, "Hey, how are you doing? How are you getting ready for the season? Are you excited?" All the time, and I was feeling like, okay, something good is coming. And then on the game, a great game. I mean, the production time, the things that the people are seeing on screen. It was amazing. And yes, of course, you get exhausted. I mean, you also play this game. You know how exhausting it is, but it is also uh, really stimulating. I mean, it is super fun. And then now I think the biggest work that you and the production are doing is like the post-production thing, where you have to edit all the episodes and give some kind of insight for people. And you are actually making more than it was expected. And that is actually what this is making this season so great at it as it is.
Yep.
I really love how you guys are doing this. Even when they saw that I was down because of the things I was saying, they all came to me and asked how they could do something for me to feel better. And it was actually, guys, you always do something to make me feel better. I mean, just watching what you do, I feel really good. And I am really happy to meet you all and also the players. I mean, of course, I have these little things that I point that are not really good to experience. But at the end of the day, I love everyone, even the people who I didn't get the chance to meet, like on the game, like Erica, or yeah, I think they were the only people that I didn't get the chance to really talk on the game. But I like everyone, and yeah, I hope to play again maybe one other day, and you will get to see more of Manu.
I hope so as well. And I mean, I'll look out for you in other games, anything, because I hear that you've played your fair share of orgs, but hopefully maybe for a second chances, if Zoomvivor does one, I'm sure you definitely will be one of the top contenders for this season. And there's the mask.
Definitely.
All right. So, on that note, thank you for joining us, Manu. And everyone, if you like this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can get a second, share it as well. And that was everything. Have a good night, you guys.